This episode is brought to you by Pepsi. I remember going to an HBCU football game. It was one of the most memorable experiences of my life. Watching an HBCU's team and band bring so much excitement to the stadium, completely packed with fans. It is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. The best part about it is that Pepsi is a proud supporter of HBCU students on and off the field. Pepsi and HBCUs, that's what I like.
Dead bitches, blue faces. Yeah, bottles popping by the cases. I put them next in the middle, I'm pulling up in the spaceship.
I got theme music. Oh, listen to this. This is champion music right here. This is winners music. Wrestling belt music. You already know what it is. Kitchen talk. We back. Shout out to the whole gang. Shout out to Garv. Shout out to Coach Garv. Shout out to Pearls Monroe. Everybody, the whole gang. Free Ricky. We back.
Free Ricky.
Big shout out. Big shout out to Duce.
Yes.
Shout out to Shalimar and my favorite tomboy. Man, we got a super big show tonight, and I wanna say, make some noise for the incomparable, the one and only voice of New York, the one and only Angie Martinez.
Woo!
Come on.
Hello.
What's happening?
No, that's right.
What's happening? Turn that up. Angie,
Turn us up, Nash.
I want to say to you, thank you for coming.
Oh, you crazy?
No, I am crazy.
You are? Well, yes, you are.
I am crazy.
Not a real question.
Rhetorical.
Yeah, I am crazy. I'm, a little bit off, maybe sometimes, but
You are the guy that no matter what is going on, whether you're super popping or you're being quiet, that if I call and say, Maino, I'm doing this thing, can you come down here tomorrow at 3 o'clock? He doesn't ask, what's it for? What are you going to ask me? What do I got to? He just said, all right, I'll be there at 3 o'clock. Send the address.
Send it.
You show up, and you always show up for me. And so, of course, if you call me, I'm here.
and I thank you, and I appreciate that, because we always talk about the parade, right? The Puerto Rican Day Parade.
My favorite.
That story when it was like, there was a guest that you had. So New York City, everybody knows that we have the Puerto Rican Day Parade.
It's incredible.
It's a big thing. It's a huge thing. It's every year. Has it been going on since COVID?
No.
No. Wow.
I know.
But it's a staple here in the city. And one year, there was a guest. I forgot who it was supposed to have been, because they have the floats, the Hot 97 float you was back then with them, and Somebody skipped out on town on y'all.
Yeah, I don't remember who it was. I wish I could remember.
forgot who it was, and then you called me.
Some sucker.
I was home resting, and it was like, yo, can you come down here right now?
Shoots right down. You show up. You always show up.
100.
You can never front. Nobody can front on you because you show up for everybody.
I showed up.
And you always show up with the same energy.
Same energy, and that's something that I wanted to tell you though, because when I was coming up, so last week, week and a half ago, my mother passed.
I know.
Right? My mother passed.
You have literally been in my prayers.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And me coming up, I had like these milestones, and it was certain things that my mother enjoyed for me. And when I got a chance to turn my life around, and I got a chance to do certain things, like she was super proud. She was prouder than probably anybody, right? She would, when I was just making songs and putting them on CDs, she was riding around and in her car.
Bumping.
And I'm like, Mom, I'm talking crazy. How you listening to this? Like,
I love that.
Maino. You don't know Maino. She was really going hard. But one of the greatest moments for me and for her is to actually hear me on the radio. You know what I mean? And one of those moments is when you actually knew who I was. That was huge for me. Like, it was like, because you've always been Angie Martinez to me. And as a fan, a lot of times rappers get on and they forget the grind. They forget that they were actually fans of the culture. They forget that they sat back and dreamed of somebody knowing who they was. Like, just the fact, I met so many people and I was like, damn, you know me? Like, I was always humble like that. So those moments that I was able to share with my mother, like her hearing me on the radio, her hearing me, I heard you on Angie Martinez.
Oh, I love that.
Yes.
I love that. God bless.
So I want to thank you for that. Thank you.
That's a moment.
Man,
Thank you. That was a moment.
Yeah.
That was a moment.
probably made her proud, man. She, I'm sure.
Yes. That was the mission.
You okay?
I'm good. You know, it's a one day at a time. One day at a time.
That's all you got. That's all you could do.
Yeah, one day at a time, and I don't, just to give you a little bit of how I feel, right? This is the first time I ever talked about it publicly, so I do want to say this. I talked at my mother's funeral, and I told people that I don't feel robbed of having a mother. I don't feel cheated out of the experience of having a mother because I felt like I was blessed and lucky to have a mother to be a grown man, right? To be a grown man, to make it to that point and still have a relationship with my mother, creating memories and doing things and having fun and, and her having a relationship with her grandkids and my son. I feel honored about that because the natural cycle of life is that we're supposed to see our parents off. It's not supposed to be the other way around. So I feel as much as I feel grief, I also feel proud, and I don't want to let the grief outshine the greatness of and the opportunity that I had to have my mother in every aspect of my life. Now, my mother would come to the school or she would come to the precinct if she had to. You understand? So it was what it was, and I'm all right. So we here, and
Thank God.
yes,
Wow.
and we gonna keep living.
That's a great perspective, man.
Yes, we gonna
you
keep
should
living.
still talk to her.
Of course.
I believe that. Like when we lose people that are that
Yes.
close to us, you have to talk to them still because you still will hear her. You still know. You're still connected. She's still connected to you. So
Energy.
yes, the energy is still there. You're connected forever, and I don't know. I feel like when you miss people who are gone like that, you still got to talk to them.
That's a fact. And I
Yeah.
can hear her right now saying, "Oh, you up here with Angie?" I see you on Kitchen Talk. It was funny things. Like she was crazy. She was a movie. So, I could definitely hear her now. And I could also hear her telling me that, you got to do what you got to do, because the greatest thing that we could do for people that we lost, to honor them, is to continue to strive, to continue to progress. To dishonor them would be to completely shut down, and that's not what we're gonna do. Under no circumstances will we, fall by the wayside and and not continue to strive. So we gonna continue to push and continue to talk.
Yes.
I love
God
that.
bless.
Thank you.
Look
We
at
here.
you. You so grown now.
Yes.
I was gonna
You're
say
so
grown.
grown up. You're so like healthy and
Yes.
like.
I'm drinking water.
You're drinking water,
Drinking
and
water.
you're taking care of your mental
Skin,
state,
that's right.
and your
The skin is glowing.
your
My
skin
skin is
is-
better than
skin
yours.
looks good.
Skin is better than yours. You such
No,
a
her
hater.
skin is poppy.
No,
Her
my
skin
skin
is
is better
poppy.
than
He's
yours.
not.
Skin is better.
He's a hater.
He was waiting
definitely
for
a hater.
it. He was waiting for it.
His skin is unbelievable.
Nah, George is glowing, so I don't know. I was like,
Everybody against me now. All right, it's all good. I like it like that.
never.
I
But
like it like that. This is not a love show. But Angie, you know what? I want to ask you this.
Uh-oh. By the way, I showed up here with I don't know what we're talking about today.
it's
So
all right.
anything is on the.
But you know what though?
Yes.
The type of show we run is we provide the vibe. We just gonna kick it.
All right, perfect.
We just gonna kick it.
Perfect.
We gonna sip our douce and just talk.
you don't do a lot of podcasts, right?
No, she don't be coming on
Yeah.
nigga shit.
No, because I do stuff if I'm promoting something or I got something, but just to come to
Come
talk shit.
kick it.
Right.
But I love Maino, and so if he calls, I come no matter what it is. I didn't even ask no
Thank you.
questions, right? I just
No
was like, what we
questions.
doing? Okay, where's the address? Just
That's
send me the
right.
address.
No questions.
And then here we are.
That's good credit.
Sometimes people be talking just to talk, and I have to talk all the time for my job, for what I do, and so I think people who don't know me probably are surprised if you meet me that I'm not somebody who always feels the need to
To
be
talk.
running my mouth
Yeah.
like just for no reason.
No, 'cause-
I'm not like if we're at a party or a restaurant,
Yeah.
I'm not the person that's like
You're
has
not
to-
talking.
I'm
You
not
gotta
really.
conserve
I
your
don't
energy
feel
in a
the
sense.
need to like over talk all the time.
You do
People-
it all day.
All the
Yeah,
time.
you need a
So
second,
it's
like,
yeah.
All the time, and also sometimes it's just like it's all right to just
Chill.
fall back.
Yes, 'cause
Listening is a thing that people. It's a skill set that people don't really.
They missed that. God gave you one ear,
Yeah.
one mouth, and two ears. He wants you
Yeah.
to listen more than talk, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, stop playing. That's
Take
what I
your
tell
own
you.
advice.
You need that advice really bad.
But it's like
Really-
you're
really
on the
bad.
other side of it when you're on interviews. It's like
Yeah, and then when I get interviewed, it's very hard for me to just sit here and be like interviewed. I immediately, like right now, I have so many questions because my heart,
okay.
my heart is like hurts for him, and I want to know he's okay. And
you can
I
ask me whatever because this show is like we don't follow like
there's
a
no
certain
rules.
standard.
Okay, there's no rules.
And just as much as we getting information from you and getting to know who you are, because you can ask me, and it's because at the end of the day, what I like about podcasts, people just want to see people talk about things that they but that they may not get on a normal
script.
Yeah,
right?
Of course.
Right, they may not get that at on a radio all the time. So whatever you want to ask me, it's cool. But I do want to ask you this though.
Okay.
How did you become Angie Martinez?
Oh my God! What?
Yes.
Shit.
How did you become that?
Where do I start?
Voice of New York.
Are you really serious?
It's never been a time we haven't known you. It's never been a time that we haven't loved you.
You know why? Because I literally, my whole life, I grew up on the radio. So I started at Hot 97 when I was 18 years old. My son is 18 now. He's in college.
Wow.
So I think about that I was the same age starting at Hot. So I grew up there. That was my college. That was my graduate school. And so I learned how to do everything in that building. And so I grew, so people sometimes, I'll meet people in the street, they be like, yo, I grew up listening to you. I'm like, first of all, fam, you're older than me. Chill out. But because you know me since I'm so young, you feel like, but I'm like, don't be crazy.
Wow.
But I grew up there. I literally grew up on the radio. So I started, intern, and then I learned how to do everything, and then I got on the air, and then Flex put me on. I used to run his boards, and then I would start talking to him, and then they were still kind of halfway a hip hop station, and then when they went full steam, then they were like,
so
they gave me a shot, and then I was a savage though. I was there. I would sleep there. I was like a savage. My work ethic, I don't see that in anybody ever.
You don't see that in these young kids?
You do. I do sometimes. And I say that, and I used to brag about that like it was so, but now that I'm older and I have like a different sense about life, I brag about it because it did get me places, but also it's not a good quality of life.
Just
to be tunnel vision like
just
that?
to be so savage, to not sleep, to not really take care of yourself, to be just... my grind was like that. You probably had a similar thing. We were trying to make something that nobody told. We wasn't supposed to get nothing. We were there trying to get something, and so I was a savage, and I would work all day in the office, then I'd stay all day on the thing, and then I'd be in the club all night, and then I'd be back in the morning, and it was every day for years I did that.
Now, but did you want to be in radio? Was that something you grew up wanting to do?
No, I didn't know. I got an internship, and I was like, this is kind of cool. I like it here, but it was hip hop. I loved hip hop. I was like a nerd. I used to listen, record lyrics, rewind them, learn all this. So it was the music first, and then when Hot 97 turned to hip hop, it was like a dream. Oh man, I'm in radio, and now it's a hip hop station, and now I could. And then Flex had just got there, so there was a whole thing happening in New York, and New York hip hop at that time was exploding. So I was there, front and center, and I knew my shit. I was prepared. I worked hard. I made people have to kind of see me. You know what I mean? And so I did that for a long time. So that's how you become something. It doesn't happen fast.
Never fast.
Never happens fast. It's consistency is key.
Consistency. I keep trying to tell. So let me ask you this though. So you
why you keep beating her up? What does she do?
It's this thing.
It's every week.
It's
every week.
It's your skin.
It's this thing.
It's the skin. It's the shoes. It's the everything. It's always something.
Okay, stop being so combative with her.
I'm trying to really love her.
I got you.
Right?
You trying to
I'm
love
trying
me.
to love her. Right? So would you say that you was like so you interned for Flex?
No, I interned at the station. I was there before Flex. I was did everything. I was driving the vans. I was getting coffee. I was everything. And then they told me, okay, we're going to be hip hop, and we're bringing in. I don't know if you know him. This guy is in the clubs. His name is Funk Master Flex. I absolutely knew who Flex was because I was in the clubs and I knew what he was. And then so they were like, do you want to run his boards? And I really didn't even know how to run the boards right yet at that time, but I learned fast. I was like, yes, I do. I'm ready. I used to lie all the time. They'd be like, do you know how to? I'd be like, yes.
Absolutely.
I didn't know nothing. I used to lie my way to
You not do it? Yeah, I have to do it.
I could do it. For sure, I could do it. I figure it out. I definitely fumbled mad times, but that's what I was a savage. I was like that.
Yeah.
Can you do that? Yup. So you ready? Yes, I'm ready. Sure, I could do that.
So doing all this, you didn't have no other life. No, this was your life.
No, it was my whole life. It was my whole life. I mean, I had friends and I loved it. So it didn't matter. My life was, I'd be there all day. I'd do this, then I'm at the tunnel, then I'm back at the thing, and then I'm in the office, and then
Wow.
That was my life for many, many years.
And what a time to be alive at that point.
What a time to be alive. And then they put me on like prime time, and then I started doing interviews, and then I started having relationships, and I grew in the business, and I learned a lot about the business. Flex taught me a lot for sure. And then, the rest is history.
Who was on the station back then? Was it like?
No, it was like
Flex, you,
right.
What?
No, disrespect.
No.
So when I first started, it was like an old regime, like half the regime from how there used to be a dance station. So there was like some dance station DJ still there. Then they started bringing in like Ed Lover and Dr. Dre came in.
Right.
And then at one point, Wendy was there for a while because they had bought Kiss, and then she came in. And then who else? It was like Bugsy. It was a bunch of people. But really, when they launched and there was a hip hop station, really it was like Flex and I were like the first of that kind of regime.
The
first
of that regime.
And you went straight to like 3:00 from the door.
Nah, no, are you crazy? I was on overnights. I used to be on from midnight to 5 a.m. That's when I would be on by myself. So imagine I'm at this radio station, right? It's dumb dark. It's a building. There wasn't no security. I didn't have an assistant. It was just me by myself with the key in the station in the middle of the night, every night from midnight to 5 a.m. So I would be I'd be looking at people's desks in the middle of the night.
What was you looking at?
But literally, when I think about it now, I was like, I was wilding. Like, it was not safe. First of all, it was not safe. There was like no security. I don't even think there was like a lockdown. It's like anybody could have just came in the building and walked in the studio, and there's just this 18-year-old girl like, hey, I'm on the radio by myself.
Was it like
not only that, you're saying it on the radio too, like, hey, I'm on air.
No, it was too early. We wasn't popping like that. We wasn't, it was just kind of, and then it started slowly popping, and then they moved me from overnights, then I did early in the day, then, whatever. Then eventually I got that nighttime slot, and then that nighttime slot, that's when it started popping. That's when I started getting guests, and people were coming through, and it was like every night, it was like it'd be like, and you know what was popping at that time, it was like, it's not just guests. It was like, okay, Biggie's coming tonight, and tomorrow, Puff and everybody's coming, and after that, Mary's coming, and then Wu-Tang's coming, and then Nas is coming, and it was every single night. Then it was, Group Home or whoever, Mobb Deep was the next night. It was every
Who's your first guest?
night. I wish I could remember that.
You can't remember that?
I don't remember. I don't know why I feel like it could have been like Group Home.
Group Home.
I could be wrong, but that was definitely one of my earlier, because I used to love Lil Dap's voice.
Lil Dap, yeah.
His voice is so crazy to me, so I remember that. Yeah. So they were early. And Wu-Tang was pretty early too, and I was a big fan of Wu-Tang. So, and they were already like Wu-Tang.
They was Wu-Tang.
Yeah. And so they were early. I wish I could remember the first. I'm bad like that. I used to smoke a lot of weed back then. And then so then your short-term memory.
At some point, it starts to leave you.
Yeah. Back then, I don't smoke no more.
What? Do you remember like who was like a big guest that you was like very nervous of interviewing?
Yeah, I'm sure there was plenty. I don't know. I think it's like a gift. I can always see people as human beings. Even if I'm a fan, I'll be excited and I'll be like, I'll be interested in what you do. But at the end of the day, we're all just people. And sometimes when somebody sits across from you, even if there's somebody you admire, I could see like, oh, they're nervous. I could see like, or they're posturing. Or they fronting, and I would try to make people feel comfortable, and so then that makes me not be nervous because I'm trying to make sure the other person is in their best state. So that takes away the energy. Does that make sense? Like, it takes the energy away from me. So I don't think anybody really makes me nervous like that. I think, but sometimes I know moments are important. If I'm interviewing somebody and it's like in the middle of something
going on.
Yeah, and I feel like, like back when Big and Pac and all that shit was going on, it was like I knew this is like heavy and important. So I have that nervous energy around that type of thing.
Like, let me get it right.
Or like when Chris Brown was in the middle of all of that. Right. He came. My first interview was with me. It's like I feel the nervousness of the importance
of that moment.
Of that moment. It's not so much that the person makes me nervous. It's just like the that moment and the energy.
Everybody's wants to
tuning in to see it right
to this moment.
Yes.
See, but that's the thing that I'm always wanted to ask you, how did you get to be the one person that everybody wants to talk to, right? So you coming up at the same time, there's Angie Martinez, and then obviously you got like a Wendy Williams who probably nobody wanted to speak to, right? How did you turn out to be the one that everybody felt comfortable speaking to? Everybody wanted to be on your show because it felt like this is the show I needed to be on. And this is New York. Like, I'm pretty sure you had other, young females trying to do the same thing.
Yeah. I think it just boils down to, like, people trusting you and intentions. Like, I never really wanted to hurt nobody. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really cared about people. I like people. I respect artists. I respect, I've had this conversation before. It's like, there's certain, like, radio personalities that think, you can't be friends with the artist because then you can't be a true journalist. You got to be either friends with them or you got to be like against them. And I never like subscribe to that. I'm like, we all of the culture. We should all just be righteous. Like you don't. It's not us against nobody. Like so when somebody comes and sits at your table, somebody comes to your house, comes to your podcast. Why? What kind of person are you to then want to attack anybody? So that's never been my thing, and I've protected people over the years. There's been artists that have sat across from me and maybe said something that I knew would hurt them, and I'll stop it and tell them. I've definitely pulled people aside, like, you may want to be careful because blah, blah, blah. And then that goes a long way. When people know you genuinely care and you genuinely not trying to hurt nobody, I think that's how I built a lot of relationships. And so people felt comfortable, and then they would come and, I don't know.
Yeah, because some people won't do interviews.
Well, it's a different day now. By the way, it's a different day now. So now you look at artists. Everybody has their own platform. Right. And honestly, if I was an artist now in 2022, I don't know if I would do interviews. Because for what? I let somebody mold my story, put out the clips, whatever they want to clip. So like, if I'm gonna sit down with you, I gotta trust you. Right. Because anybody, I could come here, you could say some wild shit to me, and then pull the clip of half of what I said, and decide you want to put that, and all of a sudden everybody has an opinion on that, and I allowed you to do that to me. It's really a different day. It is. Where artists, but then it's like we miss out on really getting to know artists in a different way because the only time they share is on their own socials. Yeah. And that shit is like not the same. You can't dig into their... So it's a weird thing. It's like you want them to do interviews, but then I understand why a lot of them don't want to. Why they won't? Yeah, don't want to anymore.
When I was coming up...
Back then, they had to.
They had to because it was like, you have to go on your radio promo.
You had to. There's no other way to promote yourself. You ain't have a Twitter. You ain't have an Instagram. You had the radio.
Remember you set up my Twitter for me?
I set up your Twitter for you. I had no Twitter. I was like, man, there's this thing. It's called Twitter. And let's get you on it. I put them on. Right?
but that's what I'm saying. As an artist.
I'm just saying, imagine being on the radio. Imagine there was no Twitter and you're an artist. You want people to hear, you got to go to the radio. So I was lucky to come up at a time where people kind of had to come see me.
You had to go to the radio.
They had to see somebody.
Yeah.
But it's some people that when you see your itinerary and you be like, man, I don't really want to go up there. But as an Angie, you want to go there.
Aw.
You wanted to be on that show.
Thank you, baby.
First time I went to Angie Martinez show.
I got you in trouble a few times, though. I know that.
Yeah, you did. But
I always want to talk about who he's dating.
Yeah. That
got himself in trouble.
Got me in a lot of trouble.
Because Maino be wilding out here.
We know. He got himself in trouble.
So I like to dig into that a little bit.
You said you changed?
You changed?
No.
I don't know.
What's a lot of
questionable?
Very question. I just had a conversation with you the other day. Don't tell me you changed. You haven't changed.
I will say this, though.
Oh, you should do an episode where you have women that Maino date only as the guests.
We try to wing it like that. We got to.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I'll come back for that just to be here. I'll be eating. I want to watch that show. I'll be shooting. I'm a question from the audience.
I'm a host.
That would be a disaster.
I'm a host.
That would be amazing.
Oh my God, we need a panel of women.
That would be like
You told me last time when we a couple of those interviews that after you would get calls. Like
of
they would
course,
call
I told you that because you had me on the ropes about something, about my style and what I, you know what I mean?
And you gotta answer Angie.
And I was answering.
You were.
And they was like, "Oh, word, that's how you do." That's how you do.
It's actually classic. Y'all should Google it.
That's how you do.
I don't know what it's called, but it was Maino's dating habits. Or something.
It was
actually
crazy.
Kind of classic.
Yeah.
He's out.
But those was
he's
big,
a savage. No,
big
he's
moments
savage.
for me though. Big moments for me.
Aw,
No,
yeah.
I'm telling you, like big moments for me.
And
Like,
I loved you. I love
Yeah.
it. You're, that's when I was like, I like this guy.
yeah. But we can't do that show.
We gotta do that show.
So how would it go? How would it go? How would it go?
So there'll be 3
We'll
girls
look through
here.
your phone.
We'll go through your phone.
Right.
We'll pick the people that you most respond to.
Right.
The fastest
So
responses.
hold on.
And then
I'm
we get
excited.
them, right?
I'm
And then we
excited
get
about
them
it.
here.
No.
They're all here.
Are these people I'm currently
Maybe.
talking to?
Yeah, because
Or it's like
let's be
old
honest. Do
flames.
your current girls know that there are other girls? They have to, right? Because you seem like
I'm
halfway
pretty
honest guy.
Yes, I'm an honest
Halfway
guy.
honest, halfway.
I'll tell you one thing. I'm not selling this sort of, fantasy where I'm just like, look, I'm not doing anything.
Yeah.
You understand? I'm not selling that.
What are you doing? So what do? You say, I got other girls, just so you know. I hope you're cool with that. I hope you're saying that.
You got me on the ropes.
Again. You just said you
Not that easy. We always go here.
No, seriously,
No,
I'd like to
well,
know
I
this.
will-
Because
I will-
now, Maino, let's be honest. Years have passed, and you're
And-
grown
and
now.
and I will
If you
say-
still lying to girls, that's
No,
whack.
no.
That's trash.
First of all, I've never been a lie seller. I've always been a truth teller as far as who I am.
And she's looking at you like she don't believe you.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Angie, you
though.
don't understand the stories I hear.
Right,
I bet.
but what am I about the truth though?
You
What?
don't lie.
I don't lie.
Well,
I
that's
don't
good.
lie.
That's respectable.
You're not
I don't lie.
100% honest,
But
but
what?
you
I
don't
don't
lie.
What does that
Well,
mean?
no. Well, I
What
will.
does that
to your
mean?
defense. No, to your defense. No, to
There's things
Maino.
that you omit.
No. To Maino's defense, if he's offering up truth without all the details, and the women decide to ignore the details, they have to have some accountability for that.
You're absolutely
I
right.
say
You
things-
can't just ignore.
You're absolutely right.
I say things like this.
The fact that he's talking, like you could watch, ladies, you could watch the podcast. Here it's already here for you.
Right.
It's not a big secret.
Maino, yeah.
It's not just you, Mom. Sorry. It's right here. Sorry.
It's not just you. It's not just you.
So who was that?
I did. I came in. I said, oh, this
So who's
nigga.
that?
So bad.
I got out the car and I saw.
Whoa, what is story?
I
Story
saw.
time.
I saw.
Story
You
you
gotta
saw.
watch out for them too.
I said, yo,
They're spilling it on you.
Yes.
Who's the car? Whose
What?
car is this?
Who's cause what?
Garv said, that ain't X, Y, and Z. I said, I saw it.
Oh,
The
this is
garage
terrible.
open.
She got you involved now. This
I
is
saw
crazy.
the garage open.
This just got
And
crazy.
the young
This is
lady
like,
walks out.
I
said,
don't even know if this is legal. What's
is not.
happening right now?
I just saw a young lady walk. I said, this nigga. That's all I said.
Well, why though? Why though?
I'm just saying.
Here's the
Why?
thing. Here's the thing though. I'm a single man, right?
Living your life.
I'm not lying to anybody, right? And I will say this: I've slowed down. I'm not doing as much with as many
Okay.
This week.
anymore.
That's a start.
This is because listen, a lot of it.
Also, because at some point, Maino,
There's somebody because and then it's,
like, oh.
but here's the biggest thing for me.
Yeah.
A lot of it is the distractions from all of the things that you need to be doing. So too much time,
Spreading yourself thin.
Right.
I was trying to help you find the words. That's all. I was trying to help
It
you
wasn't
find the
gonna be
words.
that one.
Okay.
Spreading
Spread yourself thin.
Spreading myself thin. Too much,
Spreading
dating
yourself around.
and playing around. Too much of that is a distraction
Yes, agreed.
from what you really got going on and your real objective. So spend more time chasing your
I
dreams.
think it's time for you to settle down and get one.
We say this every week.
Solid one.
For real.
A
did
strong,
we get-
solid one that's going to
how did-
support you. She's going to be here. She'll make sure everything, your
God bless
podcast
her,
is
whoever
straight.
that is.
God bless
She's going to
her.
like,
How did we get here?
sorry. This
I
is
tell
what
him that all the
happens.
time,
All
and
right.
he tell me stay out his business.
Because we don't say the truth, but swerve in.
But here's the thing, though. Until I find the one, then I, out here maybe
Spread yourself thin.
not that thin. Not
It's
that
not
thin.
butter, it's cream cheese.
Not.
It's not butter, it's cream cheese.
Cream cheese, right.
You've been waiting for this moment. You've been waiting for a moment.
It's officially a love
You've
show.
been waiting for Angie to come
I
here.
mean, how often do you guys get like another girl? Like, so you
not
know,
often. I think he does that on
so
purpose.
that's why
Not
we're
on
purpose.
commiserating. We're
This is
commiserating
crazy.
against you right now.
I'm not as bad as I used to be. I used to come up to the show and I used to talk crazy,
You
but
did talk crazy.
things changed, and
did talk crazy.
I'm more focused. I'm more focused on business. I'm more focused on opportunities, and we living. And then plus, like I said, a lot of that's distractions. I don't even hang out as much as I used to. We doing bigger things. We got a whole production now.
I see. I'm so
There we go.
impressed.
Yeah,
There
this
we
takes
go.
work.
Incredible fish sandwich when I came in.
That's just the
Appetizer.
appetizer. Like this is we
It's
provide
fat.
the
I got
vibe.
cocktails. This is a good
Yeah,
time.
this is a good time.
It's good times.
This is it.
So Angie, with all of the savagery that you've done, how did that impact?
Whoa, what? Hey, oh, what?
Savagery.
Transitions.
As
Wow,
far-
you transitions.
as far as
Hell of a shit, yeah.
as far as like interning and
Yes,
being
yes,
at the
yes.
station and everything, how did that impact your personal life?
I didn't have one back then. Back then, I was like, I was on a crazy grind. So, I didn't have one.
But like friends, family.
No,
like,
I did. I definitely think in my 20s, I was probably so locked into career that I spaced out on some of my friends, didn't see them as much as I could. But I am a very loyal person. Like my best friend she's been my best friend since we're 8 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like I like quality friends, not quantity. I don't need a lot.
That's right.
So honestly, if you look at my core crew, the girls, they've been all my friends I know 20 plus years. Like it's not a lot of new. I mean, I'm open to people, but so when you have friends like that, you could go 4 months not see them, 6 months not see them, and
That relationship is solid.
It's beyond solid. So I'm fortunate enough that I have a great group, and they've been around me since back then, and they always were cheering for me. You know what I mean? So they was never like the friends that was like, "Yo, we don't see you. Why you don't come?" It was always like, "Yo, you killed that."
That's important. That's the only way.
I've always been blessed with like good friends and people that have supported me and rock with me, and so they're still my friends. They're still now to this day.
That's interesting because I'm similar. I got a lifetime friend right there. We've been friends since maybe we'd be like
Say his name,
10,
man.
11
Show him
years.
some.
I'm gonna say his name, Casino Mike. Casino
Hi.
Mike. He's here every week, making sure that he's here specifically to eat. Lifelong friend, brother, actually. It's my brother. So I relate to that.
So you know.
Definitely. But so what I want to say about that is that in this industry, we meet people all the time. It's very hard to really see who's really genuine,
Yes.
right?
It
So
shows though. If you're paying attention,
Mm.
especially when you have moments in your career where you are valuable to people, so people then want to become your friend, and people like, "Oh, you my man." First of all, I've never been the person that's like, "Everybody's my brother, everybody's my family." I don't throw shit like that. Or people throw that around all the time. I'm cool with everybody, and I show people respect, and it's
Right.
all good. I have great relationships, but I'm not the everybody's my brother. Everybody's my best friend.
That's right.
Person, because I like to. There's a separation.
There's a level.
If I say
There's a
somebody's
level.
my family or my brother,
Right.
they really at my house on the holidays.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like it's a real, it's a real thing. So it's okay to have acquaintances and people you cool with and great relationships, but it's important to have people that when you're not popping and when you don't have
you don't
necessarily
have-
something they need,
That's right.
that they still are around and they still care about you. And so it's, you could get lost in it, especially if you have
Totally.
moments in your career where you're popping because everybody starts coming around.
Everybody's your friend.
And people are good. They woo you.
They play that game.
They play it. And, it's like you have to learn how to kind of maneuver through that. And, it gets.
That's real what you're saying because
Yeah.
those moments come, right? So it's like when you lit,
Oh, they're around. Oh,
Everybody's around.
Everybody's.
but then when you're not so lit,
Yeah.
your phone is not ringing.
As much. No, not at
It's
all.
like you're like, whoa, am I even in the industry?
Yeah. I'm always wary. I'm always
Am I worth anything to anybody? Does anybody care about me? Anybody care about me?
what happened.
I'm telling you.
No, it's real. It's what it is.
We all been through that. I've been through that. And the first time that happened to me is like I really was like, because coming from the street, it's like we love hard. Like, you know what I mean? All we got is my nigga. This is my brother. I love him. You know what I mean? And it's all the way to the end. So we come with that sort of ethic and that sort of thinking. So I was having relationships that I was like, this is really my guy. This is really my brother. And I was really thinking that.
Nope.
And
Right.
the biggest mistake I could ever have made was believing that a lot of people that I was coming in contact were really truly my friends.
Yeah.
And that was I learned
hurtful.
it. Right.
That's
It's very hurtful because
Yeah.
you sitting back like, oh, forget the industry, even as a friend.
Yeah.
How do you handle me like that?
Yeah.
So it's something that I had to learn, and I think a lot of people in the industry learn that too, because it's and it's okay because it's okay to just have business relationships, be acquaintances, but the brother shit and everybody's my brother, or this is my man. I beware of those type of people.
Yeah.
One of those things.
You
Like
got to-
everybody.
and the people who do things too quickly.
And you really got to be aware of the people who are always friends with whoever's hot right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know those people that
Entourage.
Everybody.
all of a sudden this person's popping right now and that's their new best friend. And then next year you really got to be aware of those because
You
they
just
will
find
drop
a way.
you like 4 seconds. And by the way, it's a hustle. And it's no disrespect because that's a hustle. It's like
It's grimy.
it's
It's opportunistic.
but it's a hustle and it's it's a hustle.
I got too much
It's
pride for that.
relationships and it's like, okay, let me help you navigate. It's a hustle. So there's no disrespect.
Right.
It's just you got to be careful how you hold it in your own life. You know what I'm saying? You can't.
Even as a woman, I feel like there's like I feel like at this point it's a misconception, but people think it is hard to kind of like balance out even just having a relationship or meeting people or, how you come off. Like, have you ever had that? I mean, I know you have a son.
What do you mean?
There's like relationships and...
Well, I've been in a relationship for almost 12 years now.
Yes.
But, as a grown-ass woman.
Yes.
I don't know that I could have had such a healthy, relationship, a 12-year-long relationship when I was 20. Grinding like I was grinding with blinders on, and I didn't really...
It's time.
Relationships take time, and you have to put effort and put stuff like that. And I think when you're grinding that hard, you can find people you connect with and have a good time with, but you can't really give it... You can't possibly.
That balance is hard.
That balance is hard. So there's no real answer. I don't know if that answers what you were saying.
Yeah.
But
Did anyone ever step to you like, yo, Angie,
all
and
the
you're
time.
like...
No, I was popping. What are you talking about?
What is you talking about?
All the time.
Boys in New York.
No, all the time.
All
But
the
also,
time.
when I came in the game, it wasn't a lot of women. So I used to really be I was always mindful from day one. Like, I used to come to work with, like, baggy clothes was popping back then, so it wasn't that crazy. But I never wore nothing tight. I didn't want nobody to look at... I didn't want whoever the rapper was sitting right there to be coming in. I didn't want him. I just want you to talk to me about your music. I just want to. So I would wear like mad baggy clothes and
Purposely.
And I never led with like sex appeal. Not that there's anything wrong with sex appeal, but for me and what I was trying to do, I didn't want to lead with that. I didn't want that to be the headline. You know what I'm saying? So I always kind of shied away from that because for what I was trying to do, it wasn't helpful. So, but it still would happen. People
Rappers
would
still was shooting their shot.
Oh, for sure, all the time.
Did
I
you
can't
ever
even
find
imagine.
yourself in situations where people were upset with you or tried to use that against you? Well, men tried to use that against you just because you weren't giving them the type of attention that they
That's
wanted?
a personal question right there. I'm gonna tell you that
What
right
do you
now.
mean?
before
It's
you
not
answer.
meaning-
You really
that's not
going
a-
through that. I'm just.
I feel like I'm not gonna lie. I felt like this is not about me.
Word. That's really some personal
I'm
shit.
like this is not
I'm
about
telling
me.
you.
I have been there where
She's
it's
there
like,
now.
no, I'm not there
Yo,
now.
tell me what the problem. Tell me.
Meaning, like, I used to intern as well, where you have people who try to...
Oh, and then they be mad because you didn't give them no play? Is that what you
Yeah,
mean?
So now they act funny towards you or they act like a certain type of way.
I was always really... Maybe somebody might have felt away. I don't give a lot of energy to shit I don't care about. And so if that did happen, I literally... I wasn't giving it no energy. So we would be on to the next. You know what I'm saying? On to the next. It may have happened. If I did, I didn't give it no energy. I think... I don't care. It's your problem. That's not my problem.
That's right.
That's your
Right.
problem. That's not my
Right.
problem.
Sounds
So
like
I
problem.
kind of... That's your problem. Yeah, it's your problem.
I totally understand.
Like,
I just...
yeah.
Because,
That's
as
your
a woman,
malfunction.
You
Yeah,
go
yeah.
through that a lot, especially with men in this industry, where you have some people who will do certain things to get to certain places. I was
Yeah.
never that person. And
Yeah.
I can tell you're not that person.
Yeah,
you don't
yeah,
play
yeah.
no games. So that's why I
Well,
was
that's
just
why you always
asking.
have to, like, and unfortunately for women especially, you have to make sure that when you come, you know that what you have to offer is beyond that. So if they are attracted to you or they are connected to that, that's cool. But like, I'm still here to do this job,
Right.
and I'm actually good at it. So you're gonna sit there and you're gonna do what we're supposed to do, or you can go.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So you have to really show up with something else to offer besides that. Because that's why I say you don't lead with that. Because if you lead with that and that's your headline,
Right.
and if you have nothing else to offer, then you kind of got to deal with
Well, what
that
you-
energy.
The energy, because that's the
Not
energy
that you
that you're giving
should,
off.
because you shouldn't have to ever. But I'm just saying it's the energy that you're gonna get, that you get back. And so that's how I kind of have always operated. Like, but shit, I don't know. That's just my playbook. I see women sometimes as sexiest, flyest, and they're bosses, and they do it, and for them it works, and that's
Right.
great.
Right.
no judgment on that.
Right.
But for me and what I was trying to do in the time that I was coming up, I couldn't. That couldn't have been my MO. It just wouldn't have worked. You know what I'm saying? It just couldn't have been that.
The time that you was coming up, that's interesting because it's different from the time now, right? And you had created a lot of relationships with the biggest rappers in the world, right?
Yeah.
A lot of these rappers had started to have beef, though. Did you feel like you was in the middle of any one of those beefs?
All the time. I did. I hated that. What do you mean? All of them. Right. So you're in New York. You're on the radio. This is like the station and the time and all of that. Everybody was coming through the show. And so I have a relationship. I treat people good. They treat me good. I have no beefs with nobody. So I have to, somebody who I'm actually really cool with, guess what? I got to interview the guy that they got beef with next week or 4 days later. And I always just tried to be as fair as I could and as like non-biased as I could.
You never try to play any favoritism or none of that?
I mean, I'm a human being also. So there are people that, you know, there's certain things and there are certain relationships. But I try to be open about that. Like Mary is my sister. If anybody ever disrespected her, I'm not going to sit across from them and have a conversation.
Couldn't even do an interview with them?
No. I just wouldn't. And it wouldn't be fair to that person because I'm not even capable of that. You know what I'm saying? But that's different. That's a 30-year friendship. You know what I mean? That's a 20 or 5-year friendship. It's different.
Right.
So, but I would never put anybody in that position. But people who I'm cool with, especially the guys, I feel like, yo, y'all did this. Don't put me in it. So I try to just be fair, and I do my best. I don't know that everybody's always been happy about the end result, but all I could do is show up and do my best. Once you do that, there's nothing I could do. Everything else is I can't control that.
The Nas and Jay-Z beef was on your show.
I hated that. Yeah, I hated it.
It was on your show.
Yeah.
Did you? That's a debatable beef still to this day.
What do you mean?
Like everybody says Nas won.
Well,
biased.
I don't really feel like Nas won.
Well, if we're talking about a specific battle of those two songs that was in the battle.
I never put those songs together.
Oh, okay, that's what the conversation
it was
is.
Always
if you're doing Ether versus Super Ugly, then yes, Ether is by far the better record. There's no denying that.
But I don't think.
But if you're talking about careers, or if you're talking
I'm talking about Ether versus
Takeover, then there's all types of arguments and conversations.
That's my argument.
Until this day.
Yeah, but you're the only person making that, arguing that. No, because the battle was Super Ugly versus Ether. So you're talking about a battle that never existed.
It should have never been that.
Well, that's true.
I wanted to call up.
I mean, I don't know if that's true. You should have called up. The whole city called up.
Nah, I was like, yo, listen, like, we need to battle a different record. Like, it needs to be.
You were mad. You were listening and you were tuned in like, why
I love Nas. I love Nas. I got a relationship. I'm cool with Nas. But I just felt like the battle should have been between Takeover
and Ether.
I didn't, because Super Ugly was a freestyle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jay took an L on that for sure. It wasn't necessarily a fair comparison of records.
Right, it wasn't,
I
people
agree.
called in and voted.
But that's, as this war, man, that's how it landed. And history happened the way it was supposed to happen.
Right.
And you could say, Nas won that. I mean, clearly Jay he's okay.
Right.
He survived. He has survived. And Nas has an incredible career too, by the way. He's still making moves that are like mind-blowing.
Yes.
And so they're fine. It's okay. Everybody is okay. Everybody's okay.
Life goes on.
Everybody's all right. Life goes on.
But those was one of the moments that you was like.
But in the moment, it was tough. It was uncomfortable. It was tough. I had to announce. Jay and I played Jay's song on Battle of the Beats for the first time when we didn't know who Jay was. So I known him a little. I had a closer relationship with him than Nas, even though I was a Nas fan like everybody else. So I had a respect for Nas. I just knew Jay better. So I think that came off on air, and I think probably back then Nas didn't like that. And so then, it just caused...
Nas didn't like the fact that you seemed like you was more...
Yeah, which in hindsight, later after, and me and Nas have had many conversations, I have to hear his side of that. I'd be like, yeah, I could feel you. I could see why... both of us were like, yeah, I could feel you. I could see... That's what happens when you're a grown-up. When you're a grown-up, you could look at your actions and other people's actions. But in the middle of it, it was all hot and heated. It was crazy. But I had to announce that Nas won... Mm-hmm. And then Jay-Z was walking in the studio.
Same day?
No, at the very moment. So I'm on the radio and I'm like, okay, the results are in. The whole city's listening. And I'm like, Nas won the battle. And I could see in the window Jay's like walking into the studio because he was coming up to the show that day. And And then so I had to talk to him after he just lost. It was just hard. It was all horrible. It was all bad. It was all bad. It was all bad. But guess what? They're both okay. They're fine.
But was he bothered by that though? In that moment,
I feel like he was rocked for sure. But he's Jay, and he,
Right.
you know, he handled it the best way he could. And then he went on vacation with Beyonce on a yacht. And then he came back, and he
That's
was,
what
you
do.
know,
Just go on
he's
vacation,
totally
Beyonce.
fine. And he took a presidency of Def Jam,
Right.
and he was like, he made
Right,
more
right,
albums.
right.
He was totally fine.
right?
That's how
Those
he
that's
was.
You know.
that's one of
Those moments.
Yeah,
one of
like-
those moments though. One of
But
those.
it's great. You know, it's dope. And it's dope to see what they've both done in their careers
Right.
and how much respect that they have for each other. The last time I talked to Nas about it, he was telling me that he don't listen to Ether
Right.
or any of those records
Wow.
because he's in such a good place with Jay
Right,
that
right.
he don't
He
even
don't
want
even
that
wanna-
energy.
yeah.
It's like he don't even want to put that. He's got such good energy around him right
Right.
now that he just don't even listen to the songs, which to me is
Dope.
like dope. Yeah, I love
Dope.
that. I love
Dope.
that for him.
Nah, I like that.
I love
like that.
Nas's career
Nah,
because
me
he's
too.
like this quiet
Right.
giant that he just makes moves, and you see the press release, and
Yeah.
you're like, "What? How much did he make? Oh, that's crazy!" And just the stuff he's doing with Mass Appeal and this Hip Hop 50, and
Right.
I just love how because it's so him, it's so on brand,
Right.
And even Joe, everybody
Quietly.
knows Jay's career and everything, and Jay's career is maybe a little louder,
Right.
Whatever. But
Nas
Nas
career
is true to brand
is a
for who he
reflection
is,
of his who he is.
Yeah,
of his
yeah.
character.
It's so
If
authentic.
you know Nas, he's like laid back.
and it's not to be slept on,
Right. Right.
You
It's
know
the
what I mean?
silent wins.
You don't
Yeah,
gotta
yeah.
say too much.
It's really like a phenomenal. It's just even now the moves he's making now are like really impressive.
Indeed. Shout out to the lady in this room that wants Nas, but Nas would never want
Oh
her.
God.
Is that
No.
you? That's foul. Why
No,
would you
no,
talk to
no,
you like
no,
that?
no.
That's not you.
No,
I was like,
no,
you're a little young for him, maybe, right? Who was that?
I don't even know who that is.
Somebody
I
in this
know
room
who
that
it
keeps
is.
bugging me about Nas. It's like, Nas don't want you.
Where's she
yeah.
at?
Yeah, she's somewhere. in here,
Everyone's
but-
looking around.
I know who it is.
But this, shout out to her. That's dope. But yeah, but that's what I like about hip hop is that you can actually do so many different things.
Yeah.
Like it's no limit on what you can do. It's no limit on branding
the
yourself.
opportunity
It's
is
right. It's
crazy.
so many different components right now, especially this time right now. That you can have a podcast. You could put out an album. You can act. You can produce. You can do so many different things.
You look at what Khaled's doing; it's
Right.
insane. I was talking to Jim Jones the other day. He was like, "Yo, he be home looking at Khaled like mad, like, but mad in a way where he's like inspired. Like,
Right.
I gotta get.
Right.
Oh, he's modeling for Dolce. I gotta
Right.
do that, and or
Right.
he's and it's just no ends. And even what Joe's doing and
Joe,
reinventing himself,
yep.
and I just think there's so many different
There's
opportunities.
so many different
and,
things.
Yeah, it's dope.
This is a great time right now for hip hop for
What
young
a time.
artists. This is a great time. Use your mind.
It's a
You
hard
can do
times
so
for
many
a lot of
things.
people though, but it's
Yeah, but
it's
you
a lot
gotta-
of opportunity.
It's a lot of opportunity, right? To create things that help you increase your value, right? So Joe Budden showed us that we could do podcasts.
Yeah.
He stepped into this field, showed us that we could do this. Then you can do, producing. You can do acting. You can brand yourself with and align yourself with so many different brands and just do so many things. Like speaking of Jim Jones, we not only are we doing a Lobby Boys project single dropping next
You in the
Friday.
gym.
Yeah, we in this gym.
Wearing
And this
fancy
gym,
outfits in the
Right.
gym.
yeah, this gym thing is real. It's called it's real. It's called Fitlit. So that's
Yeah.
Fitlit Club. He told you about it?
Yes.
Me.
I see. I follow y'all.
That's
I know
right.
what you're doing.
So it's,
What do you mean?
it's happening. It's really happening.
I
So you need to come to the gym.
What's happening?
First of all, you don't say that to
with
her just
us.
like that.
No,
Come with us.
I just said that the other day, right, to Brittany. I was like,
For
I think
real.
I'm gonna go work out with them just
Yeah.
to have a little motivation.
happening.
I'm just starting to get back in the gym. I had that accident a couple years ago, so I've been like
Right.
slowly rebuilding.
Right.
But now
Takes
I'm like
time.
feeling better. I'm like, all right, I'm about to get back in the gym.
And it's gonna be a vibe. We're gonna have music and it's gonna be a thing.
But y'all not gonna be talking about what I'm wearing in the gym. That's not.
Nah, that's us.
coming
That's
too.
our thing, though.
I'm coming too.
Fab start. Whoa.
Yeah, let's do it.
Whoa.
They need girls there.
Yes,
Like, what are you
exactly.
doing?
Everybody's
Coming in and
invited.
can work out.
Don't make it a you
Fitlit.
thing. Everybody's invited. It's
Let's go.
Fitlit.
Let's go this
She
week.
said
I'll go
she
this
was
week.
going.
What day are you going?
We're actually shooting a video tonight.
No, I'm not going
Not
tonight.
tonight.
We're drinking.
I just wanted to plug that, but we shooting a video tonight. And then we're gonna work out a little bit.
So y'all be shooting videos and you ain't even working out.
No, we really work out.
That's a lie. You're
We
not
really
working out
work-
tonight.
no.
You're
It's a
drinking
production.
Douce. There's
No,
no
listen,
way.
listen.
It's a lie.
One and two
that-
and 3 and 4 and
2 looks tonight.
I believe Jimmy. If Jimmy might do a push-up or two.
Jimmy's an animal
he's
in the
savage.
gym. Like this guy
I don't
wants
believe
to.
you're working out tonight.
I'm working out. This guy wants to lift every machine in there. He wants to. Yo, let's come on, back, arm, chest,
All together now.
legs. All right, come on. All right, what we doing tomorrow? Back, arm, chest, legs. What we doing Wednesday? Back, arm, chest, legs. Like what the? Then we doing the same thing every day. We doing arms and back every day. Then we doing calisthenics.
No, he's a savage.
He is a
I used to live near him,
savage.
and I would drive by, and I'd see him outside. I'd be like on my way to the supermarket or something, and I see Jimmy outside, like flipping tires.
Yeah,
outside.
Yeah. No,
in like a
Jimmy is really one of them
flip-flops.
dudes. I pick things up to put it down all day long. Yeah, what you doing? I'm about to get a pump. He one of those though.
But you're starting to see your results though.
It's working out.
Now,
Like, oh my God.
Don't get him so please.
really,
This is weird. This just got weird. This got
I
weird.
just
This
said
is
you started to see
crazy.
the
This is-
results and you blushed. That's
I'm
crazy.
not blushing.
You
That's
just
not
blushed.
blushing.
That's
This is
crazy. That's crazy.
This is crazy.
That's crazy.
First of all, don't act like I wasn't, you know,
You wasn't.
What?
You wasn't.
She said you
Moving on.
don't act like I wasn't chiseled. Don't act like I didn't have like a, you know, I wasn't cut up or nothing.
Zane, come get your father.
Yeah,
please.
We gotta put like 4 episodes ago for do it before and after.
get
See
your
what
father.
happens.
No, we just starting though, but we do want y'all all to come down though.
Fitlet.
Fitlet.
I'm coming.
Angie, you just mentioned the accident, and that's,
yeah.
I'm sure, a big moment in your life and life-changing, I'm sure, for anybody that goes through something like that.
Yeah.
How have you been mentally, physically, all of that? since
Terrible. I was terrible for a long time, and I'm like better now, thank God. But, you know, I've been blessed in my life. I haven't had a lot of, you know, I've seen bad things happen to people. I've had struggles, but I haven't had, like, trauma. You know what I'm saying? Like, where you get shot or you're in the hospital or you feel like you might not walk, like that type of deep trauma. And so that was the first time in my life that happened to me. So, like, you know, that takes you down for a little bit. I know Maino has had trauma. So I
A lot
know
of
that.
trauma.
I know that.
Wow, speaking of Joe Button. Well, look at this.
Oh,
I
that's
told
him?
you.
I told you he's coming to
Told you.
meet me.
Told you.
Oh, this
Told you.
podcast might go somewhere else right now. If Joe walks in here, it's a whole
Oh,
different
God.
conversation. But I'm good. Yeah, I feel like I truly, from my soul, believe that everything that happens to you in life happens for a reason. And I think, you know, I told you I was a savage for a long time. So much that it's probably not healthy. Like I don't rest, you know, like just it probably wasn't healthy. And when something like that happens, it resets your like.
You start to think about.
You start to think about what's important. You
important.
start thinking about like, do I really need to do that? Do I care about that? Am I doing that because people think I should? Like you start kind of like doing things that serve you a little bit better and taking care of yourself, not just physically but mentally. And so that was a different gear for me to switch into after that. But you know.
Start to think about what's more important.
What's important? I'm sure you're thinking about
Self-care.
that. Your life is
Very,
different now, right?
very.
So your life shifts.
You know what? Because I was with my mother to her last second, right? That really traumatized me,
Of course.
right? I literally like saw her like take her last breath, and then I came home that morning and I could not sleep because I couldn't unsee that, and it was like wow, like. And I kept thinking like over and over again, you know, because I had to make the call whether to keep her on the machine or not. And that was something that was like troubling me that whole day. It troubled me after that. And then, you know, sometimes when you're talking to yourself, it's like, I'm like, man, did I do it too soon? Was it more I could have done? Was there more? You know, even though we checked every box.
Are you the only child?
No, I got
Oldest.
2 other brothers. Yeah,
You're the oldest.
yeah. So you know, she's married. She got a husband too, but he was so distraught that he really couldn't.
Make the decision.
Right, he was at a place where he told me how he felt. We talked about it, but I don't think that he was really in a place. You know, some people can't handle certain things at certain times. You know, and it was for me to really make the decision, and that trauma, like I couldn't. It's just something that stays with you. I just think that, you know, a loss like that, like I feel an emptiness that I never felt before in my life, and it's not like I spoke to my mother every single day, but knowing you have one, right? Knowing that, oh, it's my mother's birthday, it's Thanksgiving, it's Christmas, we doing something, you know, we having some a family moment, right? Knowing that, opposed to knowing that you're never gonna have that moment again, you feel that. So I've been like, sometimes in a space like where it hits me like, oh, this really is.
It's a new life.
Really,
it's like you have to learn how to live now
right.
again without your mom.
Mm-hmm. That's
like
a fact.
New way of living.
That's a fact.
Yeah, for sure.
That is it. That is an actual fact. It's something that you've never felt, but I do feel like loss, right? The pain when you're mourning something. That's, you know, it necessarily doesn't go away, but you learn how to live with it.
Yeah.
You learn how to live with the scars that you have.
That's so crazy. I just had this conversation at dinner. It was saying, like, when you lose, especially like a parent, right? It's like if you've never been to the gym and you go to the gym and the weight is 250 pounds. Me and you go in the gym, we can't move 250 pounds. But the weight of losing somebody that close to you is like the weight of like this 250 pounds. You can't. And so what you have to do is go to the gym every day. And the weight never changes for the rest of your life. That pain is still 250 pounds. But if you go to the gym and you show up every day and you do the work, you learn how to move it. You figure out how to move it, how to carry it, and live your life and show up.
That's right.
And so the weight will always be there. You're always gonna miss your mom. You're always going to.
Always gonna.
But you just keep showing up, and you just start learning how to live with that weight, that difference.
Yeah, that's 100% right. I believe that.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. You know, you gotta.
Yeah.
It's one day at a time. But like I said, I believe in energy. I believe in the law of attraction. I believe in putting things in the universe, and I believe in the way you look at stuff. Right. So if you look at things negatively, you're gonna have negative energy. Like if you stay stuck in grief, everything else you see is going to be
that's true.
negative. If you just, when you just stay stuck there, and it's days that you're going to feel that, right? But then I try to like always think of something good. Think of something that'll make me smile. Think of something that's funny. Think of something that was great. And I try to like always balance it out, whereas the grief is not winning. You know what I mean? Because it's like quicksand, and it could pull you, and it could pull you, and then you just.
You can't have survived your life, the things you've been through, and I know some of the things. You could not have survived your life and been where you are right now if you didn't have that mindset. If you didn't have that, like,
that's right.
I was going to keep going, I'm going to stay positive. Because many things could have taken you down along the way. You know what I'm saying? So you already built to survive.
Yes.
I feel like as long as
survive.
you're 51% more in your energy that you want to be in, you'll always be good. Just that 1% will just change and shift everything. Because energy, I mean, whether it can't be destroyed. It has to be either transmuted or transitioned into something else. So as long as you keep talking yourself through those negative feelings and you keep pushing through and telling yourself, I'm gonna be okay.
Right.
I could get through this. I could do anything I put my mind to.
That's right.
Everything's gonna be fine. I've been through worse. Like as long as you keep
not
talking
worse.
well, I've been through things. I'm sorry, but you know what I mean.
No,
I've been in
different
places.
things.
Right. I've been in different things.
I want to say worse because it's like different pain for different
but
situations.
as long as you keep talking yourself through it, you're gonna always be okay. Always.
What did your mom think about your dating?
I love that. That was good.
Does she want you to settle down?
Yeah, did she? Did she like any of the girls?
Yes.
Did she have favorites?
Yes. So I was in a relationship, and the one real relationship that I was in where we all lived together, my moms would come over every weekend and it would be family and stuff like that. She loved that because it gave her opportunity to really have that with me. My son would be there, her grandkids would be there. So, we would do things. We'd do Christmases in the house. We would do things in the house. So, so for that aspect, and when that was going on, she loved every minute of that. And I'm glad that I was able to give that
so she could see you that way. Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So I think it's something special about being grown and having a relationship with your parents. Because I lost my father when I was about 13, 14. So I had already lost one parent. Now I had my mother's, right? So to be grown, to be a man, to have somewhat of a control of your life opposed to being a criminal young boy growing up in the street, it felt really cool. It felt cool to do things, you know, to have my mother meet me, you know, in places, to do things for her, to set up certain events and do dinners and stuff like that. Yeah, it felt really
balance.
good. Yes,
That's dope.
yes. So yeah, she.
You was a good son. You a
Yeah,
good son.
I tried to be. She would be like, man, you ain't my damn father. Cause she would look, let me tell you something funny. So my mother was super strong, right? She was she had beat a lot of ailments, right? And one of the biggest things that she beat was a brain aneurysm. Right? She walked up out of there. They told me, look, this could be it. And then they told me, well, if she does pull through, it's a big chance that she's never the same. She proved all of them wrong, right? She walked up out of there. So they told me that she had to change her diet and stuff like that. So I would be like, your mom, and she had to stop drinking and stop smoking. I'm like, your mom, you can't drink. You ain't my damn father. You think you somebody's father? Like it used to drive me crazy though, but it was funny in those moments, and I think about now because it was funny because that was just her, and she was like, "You think you somebody's father, don't you? You ain't my damn father." And then she would come to the house and tell people, "Yeah, give me a drink." And she would try to find. I would hide stuff from her. It was funny though. It was crazy. It was crazy.
Oh, God bless.
Nah, definitely.
Death is crazy, boy.
It
happens
is.
to everybody.
It's final.
It happens to everybody.
It does.
All of us. It's gonna happen.
Right, and that's another thing. That's what I said earlier about, you know, your mother burying you, right? Because we come from that world, right? Mm-hmm. Her sister, my aunt, lost both of her kids.
Oh yeah, that's horrible.
Both of them, both of my cousins, right? Gone. That's a different type of pain. Her other sister, right, who was killed when we was very young, right? My cousin, this is my cousin's mother. He was 9 years old when he lost his mother. And I told him, I said to him, you was robbed of the opportunity to have a mother, to have those experiences. Mm-hmm. Like, you didn't grow up having your mother. You didn't have those moments with her. She didn't whip your ass when you was acting up at school, in high school, and you know your first girlfriend. Your mom, what's this? These bumps? Oh, you going through puberty? Like these questions that you had, you know, that you needed a mother for. She wasn't there for. You was robbed of that opportunity. She didn't see you become a man and then a father and then have a relationship with your kids. You was cheated out of that. So I'm grateful. For having that opportunity, for having those moments. So, I mean, like I said, the natural cycle of life is that we, as our parents' children, see them off and not the other way around.
Oh,
wow. You
oh, wow.
And I definitely choked up too.
You choked up? Whoa.
You know that's hard for me, but I'm like,
wow,
yeah.
This is going to be all right.
You don't talk like that often. That's real.
Right.
Like, that's some real shit.
It's all right. Whoa, she's crying.
No, that's real. Well, you know she's pregnant.
She's crying. She's crying.
But it's also, you can't,
It's
you
real.
know, you can't front on this moment.
Not
this
at all.
is a life-changing moment.
It's real, but it helps me to talk about it.
Of course. No, I'm glad
You know
you
what I
do. I'm glad you do.
It helps to talk about it because, you know, when you bottle things up is when they come out the wrong way.
Yeah.
You know?
You shouldn't hold any guilt either because, you know, you're not God.
That's right.
And so people's time is people's time. And I know you had to make that decision, but it really is God's decision at the end of the day. And so I just hope you don't hold none of that guilt.
No, I don't. I don't hold guilt, but every now and then
it's a thought.
My mind is like,
no, you control your mind. Don't let your mind do that.
Yeah, but then I settle up. You know, I have my moments and I'm like, did I? Or, you know, I question myself, you know, but then I settle up and I balance it out and I say that, you know, my mother was, she had a lot of different ailments. She had COPD, that was a smoker's disease. So that's an irreversible lung disease. And, you know, she went from not being able to, you know, to breathe well to me having to get her a portable oxygen. So she walked around with oxygen. And then it got to the point where she just could not really breathe on her own. So,
so she's in peace right now.
Yeah, definitely. So, and that's the way I look at it.
Yeah,
that's the way you gotta look at it.
For sure.
Half full, man.
Yeah.
She's over there crying. We having a moment here.
I'm chilling. I'm just quiet. I'm not crying.
Yeah, I just saw a teardrop. Just now.
You
It's
did
okay.
not. You saw me do
It's
that.
all right. It's all right. Yeah. What happens on an Angie show? This is the Angie show.
By the way, this has nothing to do with me. This is you sharing in your
letting you
moment.
have it.
Yeah, but you bring
And
this out.
I just came to see you because I know this is a time for you.
No, definitely, and I'm glad you came because it helps me. It helps me to talk about,
Yeah.
you know, the things that go on in my life. Because sometimes when it's too quiet, you like, man, all you got is your thoughts.
Yeah, that's.
Sometimes the worst person to talk to is yourself.
Sometimes.
Tell yourself, wow.
You like, nigga. Yeah.
That's how
You
know you're
ever
going
tell
crazy.
yourself the weirdest things? Like, I don't like the way that nigga just said, "What's up?" to me.
Then it just get bigger and
That's
bigger.
all you. That's
Yeah,
just
like,
you.
oh, like, maybe it's just me. Like, he just said, "What's up?" to me, massive aggressive.
Meanwhile, ain't nobody did nothing.
Maybe I need to spin back and see what's on his mind. Like, for real, like, your mind.
This is really what goes on in his head, too.
Sometimes your mind tells you different things, though.
It's like, should I press him?
Was
Why?
that
He
person
didn't-
talking to me a little crazy? I was in that meeting. Did I say everything that I
No,
needed
I'm
to
like
say?
that different. But I talk to myself different, but with the same type of things. I'd be like, their energy's weird. They're giving me weird energy. I don't like they're looking at me weird. I don't know what did I know them from somewhere and I forgot them, or that's start feeling
I'm sure
guilty.
that happens
it's
a lot,
probably me.
too.
I probably know them and I just didn't say hello. It's probably me. This is what goes on in my head. But I'm an energy person, so if somebody gives me weird energy,
Right.
like literally 2 seconds in the room, I'd be like, tick tick tick, weird energy. Like,
Weird energy.
there's how many of y'all in here, mad people?
Radar.
I could be like, that one over there.
Yeah.
Get him out of here.
Not really. Not you. I'm just using you as an example.
And then people think I'm crazy if I say something, so I just keep it to myself. I just be like,
Oh no, I
let
keep
me
it to
just figure
myself.
out.
I just
Mhm.
watch, and I'm very rarely wrong. Not
Me too.
usually wrong.
Are you empathic?
Huh?
Are you an empath?
I used to be an empath. I am to some extent, but I learned to not. Only when it's healthy. I
You
can't
learn how to
Yeah, I can't
channel the
take.
energy.
I can't because bad. If it's bad energy, if it's any
Can't
of that,
hold
it's like
on to it.
I've learned how to kind of like do that.
So
but I
you're
am an
just more-
empath.
You're more intuitive.
What is an empath?
A person, it's a person who is very sensitive to energy, who can feel, like I told you the other day when I was like, I felt your energy. I knew what it was.
So it's like,
but I wanted
If
to cry.
I'm with you and you're sad,
Yeah.
I'm sad.
Yes, and I
And
feel
so
it
I
as if
go
I'm
home,
you.
and so I am naturally like that. But over the years, I have worked to find a place where I could care about somebody, but
take it on.
keep myself stable.
Yeah.
Because I used to be like, if my friends and I'm talking shit right now because I still do it sometimes. It's something I work on because I do care about deeply. So it's like if one of my good friends is going through something, I'm going through it with them, and it's not helpful.
You feel it as if
And you
it's
could
you
love
take on the
and it
energy
don't mean
sometimes.
you're good. And so
Yeah.
then we think, oh, we're so good because we care. It doesn't make you a better person. It makes you dumb because you're not dumb. But
I get
I'm
what
just
you're saying. I get what
it
you're
makes you like you're doing it to yourself.
Yeah,
the
you're
only
hurting
person
yourself.
you could still love somebody and have compassion and be there for them, but you could keep yourself intact. You don't have to be crying on the floor also just to care about somebody. Whereas sometimes if you're an empath,
You don't even
it'll
realize
take you
it
down.
sometimes.
It could take you down. Other people's
other
problems
people's pain.
can take you down.
You feel it.
Does
You
that make
take
sense?
it on.
Yeah.
Like you take it on as
Take
if
it
it's
on.
yours.
Yes.
Like you feel like you are that person. So you can feel.
like, why am I
but the
sad? It's
problem
'cause
with
they're
that-
sad.
Some people don't
The
know
problem
that
with
they
that is that
are.
every single person walking the earth got problems.
Yep.
Right.
And you can feel that.
So the problem
sometimes-
with being like that is now you taking you can't survive that way. You cannot put other people's problems, even people you love. It don't mean you love them less.
Right.
It just means you self care.
Yeah, you gotta be solid at least.
Some
You
people
have
will
to be
come
okay.
and literally dump their
Yes.
stuff on you. Like they'll come and just pour everything
Waiting
on
for
you.
a
So
shoulder,
now they
yeah.
feel
I'm
good.
I
and
don't
you
let
feel
people
heavy.
do that. I got
don't
strong
either.
boundaries.
I'm a distant friend. So
No, I got
Hold
a
up.
strong boundary
I
system.
keep my distance from like a lot of energies because I can feel
So
it.
you
And
like
of course,
so
anxiety.
you're an empath. That's
Yes,
like
I
you
am.
like a mutant.
No,
Yes,
it's
I
nothing
am
to
a
do with
mutant.
music.
I
No, it's like
can-
X-Men. Like,
Yes,
like,
I
It's really
can-
not.
yeah,
It's
like
like
a superhero. It's like super. It's sort of like
It's
a.
not- it's like
Yeah,
empathy.
mutant.
It's like
Yeah.
you have empathy for you.
You feel for
can
someone. You feel with
Somebody makes your
someone.
button in.
Oh my God! This is
That
gonna be
would
a good
probably
time.
make you a even better host. I feel like this industry is very like.
No, it is good because you
Yeah.
can.
You can relate.
I don't judge people a lot also because I feel like even if people do foul things,
sending
I
them to
always
come
feel
get you
like I could see where you come from. I could see your experiences you've been through. I understand why you are the way you are, as opposed to just
Yeah,
being
they
like,
coming to get you at the door.
you're kind of trash.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
kinda trash.
I can.
You're a shitty person.
Yeah, but
Yeah, it's like I still understand
most
why
people
you're a
are
shitty
shitty people
person.
because they've been through shitty experiences.
Absolutely.
And they've had shitty things happen to them. So I try to be, empathetic to that.
Right.
Yeah. And you're a Capricorn. Your
And
birthday just
also,
passed.
I'm a Capricorn.
Yes.
I've had many family members who have had many problems and vices, and so I've seen people, and we all have.
We all do though.
Yeah.
We all got.
All of us.
Everybody's. Yeah. So we try our best.
The X-Men.
So is Joe joining the
You still on the
podcast? Or
X-Men
is
thing?
he-
Yeah,
He's pulling up. We need another mic.
We need another mic. It's so crazy.
Is he?
I don't know. He might just be coming.
Yeah,
That
he's
would be a
gonna see-
first.
Well, he's been on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Wow. So I didn't even know this about you.
Look at this.
Yeah,
I'm creating
yeah,
bonding
right.
experiences today.
This is a really good thing.
Is this like a weird podcast? Is this
No,
not
this
normally
is-
the tone of your conversation?
No, it's exactly the tone of the conversation.
Okay.
Well, actually,
I feel like
sometimes
it's like a
because
little
you're here-
weirdly deep today.
No, because
No.
you're here, it's
'Cause you're
more
here,
deep
it's-
in the circumstances.
Is
given
this
the
becoming like a
circumstances.
sad?
No.
I don't want to be that friend. I want to have some,
I will say this though.
What?
Since you've been here, they've been feeling themselves more.
Oh, they're empowered.
Because when men
Yeah.
are here,
How so?
he feels like
You feel like
It's just
Power
more
Agent.
feminine energy on the
Yeah, he
Because
forgets
podcast.
they
about
feel
us.
me. They
Yes.
feel when they feel my energy.
There be a lot of testosterone
Yes.
on this
Yeah.
podcast.
Yes, they forget
So you
about
be
us.
having your-
We be having
your
a like
boundaries,
really like
yeah.
excuse me, hey.
This is the thing here. This
I mean,
is-
you're barely here. It's really the three of us.
basically,
and
this is what I'm saying.
You
I'm
want
like,
to let Joe Biden? No.
Is that why you called Joe to join you? To back up? Come on, man. To back up?
wow.
How is Angie the mom? Like, how is that a different person than what people see in the public?
What am I like as a mom?
Are you strict?
Hi,
Are
Joey.
you cool?
Are you not on the podcast with us? We're potting. We're potting. King
Potting.
The king. The king pot is here.
Yeah. Shout out to Joe Button in the building. We
I don't know
over
if
here
I'm doing
potting.
good. I don't know if I'm doing good.
Can you give my guy something? He knows the routine. You hungry? You thirsty? Are
he
you
hungry?
hungry? Is
you.
that Honey Jack? Is that Honey Jack?
No, that's a you.
It's you.
It's a yoo-hoo.
You good?
He has a yoo-hoo.
Oh, nostalgic.
Nostalgia.
That's crazy. Shout out to Joe
I
Button
just
in the
love.
building.
I just love Joe. By
Joe
the
was
way.
crazy.
No, he's my favorite.
Joe was nuts.
So
He gave us a
what
good
were
interview.
we just saying? What is
Angie the
Angie
mom.
Oh my! I don't know. No, I'm good. I think I'm obsessed with my kids. Like I think they're dope people. You know what I'm saying? I have a son is my son
That's right.
he's 18. He's in college right now playing ball, and then I have a bonus son, stepson, and he's 16. And both of them are just dope people. Like I love them. Like
right.
you know what I mean?
Boy,
I
mom.
like them. I love them. Sometimes they get on my nerves, but it's not. But who they are as people is really dope. And
That's
so
right.
then watching them grow, and so I try to like give them enough room to be who they are, and I feel like they can talk to me about anything. I'm not like super helicoptery where I have to like
Helicopter hovering.
Like I like to let them have freedom to figure things out and learn things, and
I may be a little helicoptery.
but I'm obsessed. But you can't be like that because then your kids don't learn how to do nothing for themselves.
It's the
I don't
boy
know.
I
mom.
have friends who have kids and they do everything for them, and then the kid can't do nothing for themselves. It's
Yeah, you're
not
right.
okay.
Am I helicoptery? Do I like hover over you? Or I'm just
I'm not even
concerned
doing
about
this.
safety. Like,
I'm
my
not
thing
even
is just
doing it.
safety.
I mean, is he all over you? Does he let you do things?
Smothers you?
Now.
Now.
But how old are you now? 19. He's 19.
All right,
now
but-
you just started?
Why you
No,
getting
I
aggressive?
just
He's
started
getting
now.
aggressive.
No, I'm just asking you. Am I worse than your mother?
No, we're not gonna bring her in.
Am I
We're
worse
not
than your
talking
mother?
about her.
I'm
We're not
better than your
talking
mother,
about
right?
her.
yeah,
Don't do
yeah.
it. Don't do it.
Like, I'm
Zane.
just saying. Like, I don't just.
It's like different watching over me kind of thing. It's like she's more like annoying. Like she-
Okay.
Oh, that's going to get you in trouble.
That's what he was looking for. He was looking for that. He was really looking for that.
Walked
That's the
right into
crazy
that,
part.
Zane.
Don't do that to your son.
I said
Hey,
no.
listen,
no,
it's
bad
okay.
parenting what you're doing right
it's
now.
all right.
It's
It's
bad
okay.
parenting.
all the time.
Look, it's okay. And she hovers, right? But Zane, that's my guy. You know what I mean? I just care about safety. I'm just worried about safety.
I care about like safety, yes.
Safety.
The first thing is like safety.
Safety,
of
first
course.
thing.
But then after that, it's like, are they good? Are they gonna be all right? Are they good people? Are they solid? Are they What are their morals? Like, I care about that. So whenever my kid does something, I'm like, ooh, that's the, like, I get, you know what I mean? That's the pride I have. When my kid says something that's like loaded with integrity.
Right.
Or like.
Right.
Or like.
Right.
That just makes me like, nothing could make me more proud.
You know what,
And
what
work
makes
ethic.
me feel?
You know, like they got good work ethic and.
He need to work on that, but.
You know.
You see what you just said, Angie? That was very important. You said integrity and what type of person they are. I look at my son and I say, damn, you a better person than me.
That's what we hope for.
Damn.
Anyway, that's the
You're
job.
doing a good job.
By the way, that's the job. Every generation is supposed to be better than the generation.
That's right.
Absolutely. All the things my mother got wrong, I'm supposed to fix that. And the things that her mother got wrong.
That's right.
And then hopefully my kids will be better than me in whatever way. It doesn't mean like they're going to have more money or they're going to have better jobs. It just
Better
means
people.
just better life.
Yeah.
Just
Better.
better. Feel good.
Yes.
Good people.
Yes.
I'm happy my
Generational
son
curses.
is just not a follower. He's 17. He's in his last year of high school. And I just look at him sometimes. I'm like, he doesn't really ask me for anything. He controls his bank
Does he ask you about
accounts
that
and
haircut?
everything.
Does he talk?
Oh my
Just throwing it out
God.
there. Just asking, hey, Mom, where you going with this?
I would go there with you, but I'm not gonna do that today. I'm focused on my kid.
Unbelievable.
But
annoying.
I just love the fact. I just love the
So
fact that my
stupid.
kid is not a follower. Like he'll see his friends do anything, and people watch him, so they come
Right.
back and they tell me, you know. So he makes me proud too. He just got into his
You're
first
very chatty
college.
today.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah,
I
really.
feel like you got to know them a little better today.
You know, they're showing off. This is show off episode. We'll name it the show off episode.
Angie's
like,
here.
Angie's here. Like,
I love
this
that.
You're a big deal though, Angie.
She is.
No, you are, and you always being humble though. But you are a big deal.
Blueprint.
Okay.
You are a big deal for.
All right,
for,
fine.
We'll take it.
This is a new thing I'm trying on. I just started this like last month. Not even a couple weeks ago. I was doing
Accept
something.
your roses?
I was doing an interview with Mary.
Yeah.
And Mary said something to the fact about like, because everybody's always called her the queen of hip hop soul from the beginning, and she never felt like that. She liked it as a brand, and she would, whatever. But now she's just starting to like.
So yeah.
Walk into it.
Because I earned
Own
that.
it.
Because I earned that. And when she said that, I was like, maybe I should just start being a little less humble because I have earned some things.
Yes.
So I'm trying that out for size now. It's a new thing for me. Like,
Right.
so when you say you're a big deal, normally I'd be like, oh, no, stop. Now I'm like, okay.
Yes, I am.
Yes, I am.
Right.
Okay.
Yes, yes. Stick your chest out. No, it's the truth.
No, but in a way where it's like, I do have some things to offer. I do have some, I've worked hard for a long time.
You earned it.
I have some stripes.
Every stripe you have, you earned it. So let me ask you though, like, it's been what, 25? How long you been in the game?
150 years.
Okay. Okay.
What would you like to know?
Is there any, like, you see any end coming? Like, you ever see yourself not on the radio at some point?
Yes.
I mean, we all gotta go.
I don't know. Yes, maybe. No, I don't know. I definitely always want to do other things.
Right.
I definitely just me sitting in the radio is like not the thing.
What
I
happened
always
to the
am.
show?
I'm always like doing another show, doing another book, working on a script, working on it. Like the radio is just, it's like brushing your teeth. It's like you get up, you brush your teeth, do your radio show.
Routine.
It's
You get
just
tired
like
of it?
it's not tired of it. It's just part of who I am. It's like a extension of myself, and it's easy and it's fun and it's part of me. But it's not the whole. It's not all I have to offer.
It's not
you know what I'm
the
saying?
whole
There's
you.
definitely, I'm writing a lot now. I'm working on, it's another book and scripts and, production ideas, things like that. So
Definitely.
there'll be more. I'm always going to be trying to challenge myself and figure out what's
more
next.
shows, right? Because I like that show
Definitely.
you had.
Thanks,
on
man. You were
Week.
great on that
Yes,
show, too.
Definitely. There's a couple of stories we couldn't tell, but yeah.
If I'm going to say anything about that show, I was grateful for the opportunity. It was dope. It was fun while it was. I'm at a point in my life, in my career, like, I want to do things with like-minded people.
Of course.
I don't want to, it's hard with the culture when you try to do a show about the culture that you care so deeply about. I've always tried to carry myself with integrity and make sure the things I do, and if I bring an artist into something, I want them to know they feel safe. Sometimes when you go on a platform and you can't control everything, that's challenging, right? So I bring people into this home and I don't control the edit. That's hard for me. As somebody who's always had so much control. So anything I do moving forward, it's like
Keep
either
that
I
control.
can all the way be in control from the beginning to the end, or I don't really want to do it. So that's like so whatever the next show is will have to be.
Right, they have to have that
Or
creative
either
control.
if I can't control it all the way, it's with somebody who's like-minded.
that cares about the culture.
Exactly. That's
A
my
lot of
point.
times we
That's
do
real.
business with people that don't care about the culture.
And that's hard.
It is hard.
Yeah.
A lot of times they don't understand the culture. They just see the monetary value in it.
Yeah, and there is.
And
you
it
know,
is. And
you-
we doing business because we
it's all
trying to get
business,
money.
and
We
right,
trying to
of course,
expand.
Of course. But for
you
me,
know.
where I am in my life, in my career, I just want to do dope shit with dope people, and
Yeah.
I don't want no pushback. I don't want nobody telling me. I don't want to be told what to do at this point in my life.
I know that's right.
I
And you
just
earned
don't.
that. And you earned
And
that.
I know that's
that.
right.
Thank you for understanding that. I don't, and I'm okay. Like I don't have nothing to. I'm not trying to prove nothing to nobody. I don't feel no need to like overdo anything.
Right.
So, whatever you see me do from this point to the rest of my career is because I want to do that.
Right.
I don't want to do anything that is like because I should be or because everybody else is or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
I always saw like a talk show, daytime talk show for you.
That's so funny because when I
you
was
had
young, that was
something like that before,
was
right? Like a nighttime and BT joint.
oh no, that was like a little test run for this
Right.
cover girl thing that we were doing. So that was like a one-off. But I used to see that for myself too. But if I'm being honest about what television looks like and what daytime television looks like, as a kid, you know, I'm an Oprah baby. I grew up watching Oprah. What I'm good at, my skill set is I know how to talk to people. I know how to extract moments. And conversation. And so, yes, I watch Oprah and I grew up like, oh, I want to do that. I'm going to be on TV one day. But the way TV is set up in this time, it's not really set up for that. It's not really set up for what the skill set is and the thing I love. I don't see that exists in daytime television.
Create it.
So it's not that easy to create it because the gatekeepers don't really necessarily care about that existing, I don't think.
It's not set up that way. Yeah.
And so I don't really feel the need to, I don't know. Does that make sense to you?
I get it.
Does that make sense? That might be too insidery.
You gotta
and too
peek, you gotta
insidery,
peek
but-
at the game, right?
Oh, I got many peeks at
And
the game.
you
I've
saw-
sat in many rooms where they ask me wild disrespectful questions, and I'm like, whoa, okay. So this is what I want to do, and you know what I mean. And so, so I've been through a lot of those meetings, and you start looking at it like, why do you want to do this? Why is the, I'm not to say that if an opportunity came and there was some dope people, again, I want to do dope shit with dope people. So if an opportunity came and it was for daytime talk or it was for talk, I love having conversations. I could do that wherever, in a podcast, on a television, or whatever. I
Right.
like connecting with people. Like,
Right.
that's my thing. So if an opportunity came like that to do a talk show in an environment that was healthy and cared about people and cared about culture, then I would be interested in that. I don't see a lot of that happening, especially in television right now. I mean, there are some things, especially like cable, and there's some dope things happening on HBO, Showtime, maybe HBO Max or something. But I'm talking about like syndicated daytime television where we know to be like the Ricky Lake or the whoever, like those type of shows. I don't really, you see that? I don't really see that.
I seen
And I don't really want to get on TV talking about like the rumors of the day and the.
it's cookie cutter though,
I would
right? It's the
rather
same-
stay home.
It's the same model.
It's real.
It's the same thing. I don't
Yeah.
want to cook a souffle with the girl from the new TV show that nobody like. I don't want to do that ever.
It's not authentic.
Is that terrible?
No.
Sound like an asshole, but like life is short and like.
What's the point?
It needs to
What
be a
is
real
the
culture
point?
show,
Right.
though. It needs to be a
Like-
real culture show, like a real
And it has to
hip hop
be with-
show.
yes,
Like,
it has to
it
be-
has to be a real show about.
Yes.
the
So would I be
culture.
interested in that if that
Right.
opportunity presented itself? And I
Right.
think about it all the time. How do I create that opportunity? Maybe I'll go have drinks with Joe after this and figure it out. But
It needs to be a culture
so
show.
I think about
Joe.
that. But it's also like, I don't know. You have to just, we'll see. We'll see.
Definitely.
But I ain't trying to do none of that weird. You're not going to see me on the.
On what?
You're
Doing
just
any
not
of
going to
that.
see me on any of that, doing any of that. Just not.
What does excite you these days? After like 20 plus years in the game, and you said radio's still fun, but what are you excited to do? Like, this is what I want to do right now. Like,
Well, I'm writing a lot, and to me, that's exciting because it's hard. It's so hard. But when I get it, so I'm working on a script, right? And so so fucking hard. So I be like, oh, and then I'll get it, and I'll read it, and I'm laughing, and I'm like, and it feels so good to learn something and to create something, and it's private, so it's not like the world has it yet. Hopefully, one day it's my dream to like write, create, put it out, and it'll see the world, and so that's the goal, right? But right now, I'm in the process. It's like very internal and quiet, which is why I was telling Maino, I'm not out running around doing podcasts because I'm in this like weird like quiet, creative cocoon mode
in your own head.
Yes, in my own head.
Your own
it feels
mind.
good, by the way, to be able to do that too, you know. But so we'll see where it lands. But I get excited about like learning new things and figuring that out. And I'm still, you know, there's gonna be bad shit.
Yeah.
Bad stuff.
And that's the thing about life. And we talked about being alive today in this time, in this culture. You know, we got all these things at our fingertips. We got all this technology. There's so many things that we could do. I wrote a book, and we talked about distractions, but I need to finally get this book published. I need to finally put it out. It's a book that I've been working on.
Why don't you date a girl that's a book publisher?
I'm dead.
I have.
And then you could get her to get you.
I have.
Of course he has.
I tried it.
Of course he has. And she couldn't help you. You didn't pick the right one.
Sometimes dating is not the answer. That's right.
Oh.
Sometimes it's better
It went
to
sour.
be.
It went sour.
It always
It was
does.
him.
It's always me.
You did something that you ain't have
It's
no
always
business
me.
doing.
It's always me. You know what? I'll be like, yo, I'm selling everything, even that, right? So it's like I'm going. Stop playing with me.
No,
Sometimes it's better to just keep it platonic,
Sometimes
to keep it
is.
respectful.
Do you have an issue with keeping things platonic in that type of situation?
Sometimes I did.
Sometimes I did.
I'm not saying I do now, but sometimes I did.
Okay.
You know, like, oh, who's that? We working with her? Yeah, all right, but let's get that off.
That's your
go-to.
No, it's like,
yes.
Some tension here. Let's see about it.
And then I'll go leave it alone, and he'll go, see, that's your problem right there. Now we in the argument. That's my problem.
That's your problem.
That's
In
my
my
problem because I'm
business.
trying to save you
In my
from
business.
the headache.
But I'm learning and we evolving constantly. And here's the thing. We talked about it earlier. I'm not doing as much with as many anymore.
Congratulations.
That's right. Triple A. Come on, give me
So
that.
the next time I come on the show,
That's right.
next time, we're about to eat, right? Good, perfect. The next time I come on the show, I'm gonna we'll bring whoever's left of the roster,
Yes, we have to do this,
and
Angie.
we will have like a
man, you hear this,
panel.
Joe?
Yes, we
You hear
have
what
to do
she
this. We have
suggested?
to do this.
I mean, this would be phenomenal for
It
ratings.
would.
This would
is
be great
crazy.
ratings.
It would be amazing.
Butter.
And then let me.
What's the questions though?
Oh, I got mad questions.
I got questions
I
too.
got questions about the transparency involved here. Is there transparency? Is any of this a surprise to you? I also want to know if they're like if the routines are the same. Like that is the same thing happening with all of the.
This is like destruction. This is like
How?
It's a setup.
this is
No, but then
suicide
whoever's
here.
the
Gonna
last,
get you
whoever's
more-
the last one standing, you know she's really for you.
Oh, so this is
Surviving
Surviving Jermaine.
Surviving Jermaine.
Bobby Jermaine. This would be great for ratings. I'm in.
I don't know,
I'm
man.
Definitely a
available.
dating
By
show.
the way, when you're ready, I'm available. I will come
3
back.
girls.
I will come back to participate in this show with you.
And assess.
I would love this.
Damn.
I love this.
That's going to be very.
I love this
very
idea.
Come on, you got to step it up. You in the podcast
Right.
game now. You might as well commit
You-
the full you.
You honest man,
The
right?
full me.
You honest
Step
man.
it up.
Right? You can't
Got my
Accountability.
guy back there clapping.
Joe Biden says yes. You can't halfway pod. If you're gonna
Right.
pod,
You gotta pod.
You gotta go full
You gotta
throttle.
pod.
Pod.
But I don't see nobody else podding that way.
You gotta provide the vibe. That's what you say.
Are you crazy?
Gotta set the
You
trend.
provide the vibe. You set it up.
That's a different type of pod. You're podding
That's a good
different.
one.
I think you're missing the opportunity
Yup.
here.
You scared.
What
for
was our first big? You and I, of all the interviews, the first time we had a great interview.
That was
what
it.
did we talk about?
It was about my behavior.
Yes, and it was great, right?
It was great.
because there's a thing there.
It was great, but bad for me.
It wasn't that bad for
It
you
wasn't
because
that
you
bad.
survived
You're
it.
fine. None of them
Surviving
girls was gonna
Jermaine.
make
Of
it
course,
anyway.
we're gonna survive
Right?
everything.
None of
Right?
those girls was gonna make it anyway.
We're here today anyway.
Exactly.
There was a wifey in there.
What?
There was a wifey
No,
in
no,
there.
no.
There was a wifey in there.
No, it wasn't.
Or two.
The
If it
truth
was, they
is,
would've been.
on the other side of it, you might actually find a real wifey because for the first time, you'll actually really be transparent.
I don't think
That's
I'm
real.
doing
Somebody
that.
will love you for you.
I don't think I'm doing that bad though. This is crazy. I don't think
pod
I'm doing
just
that
took a
better.
turn.
Yeah,
Pod took a
I'm doing
turn.
better than I used to do. I'm
What is that? What is that?
chilling.
Give it to me in numbers.
Like
Like, what do you say? Like, what does that mean?
I'm saying I'm not doing as much as I used to do. Like I've been lately.
Or no, in numbers.
The percentage.
No,
lately,
like numbers.
in the last couple of weeks, it's probably been
Weeks? Nah, you out of line. You out of line.
Line.
You out of line.
Weeks.
I gotta know when it. I gotta know when it just shut the fuck up. I gotta know when it just
One of
shut
those
up.
things.
Weeks. It's been really like one person maybe.
Over the past few weeks.
The one that I just seen.
That's you in my business.
I was
You in my
asking.
business. You in my business.
She's already
You in my
seen
business.
at least two in the past couple of weeks.
She's saying, you really a bad person. No, you're really a bad person.
You just talked
But-
about my hair.
Damn,
Same level, I guess. Yeah, right.
I'm doing better.
Okay. You still didn't give it to me in numbers, but that's
What-
okay.
what,
well, you
like-
said one the
yeah,
past couple of weeks.
Weeks.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's a little nuts.
How's that?
The fact that you measure in weeks is
You gotta
like,
start from somewhere.
No,
though.
the fact that you measure in weeks says a lot.
I mean, life starts from seconds.
Nah,
You gotta
It
start
says a
from
lot.
somewhere.
It says a lot, is what I'm saying.
So where do I start
Weeks is-
from?
is
So do I not
close.
start at all?
Talk to me about the past 6 months. How many? What's the number?
I gotta get the 6 months. Let's talk about the next.
No, the past 6 months.
No, I can't talk about the back.
How did you end the year?
Right.
Start this one.
Oh, how did you end the year?
Yeah, what was your final tally at the end?
How did you end the year?
This is so bad.
What was your count? What's the
My
body count?
final tally. I can't do that.
Okay.
That's a scary
All right.
thought.
We don't want to hurt you. Let's leave it
Yes,
alone. Let's
that
leave
is
it
a-
there.
that's a bad
We'll
thought.
save it for the next episode.
for the show.
We'll save it for the big show. The
save it for
big
the
show
show.
when I come back.
Listen, man, this is Kitchen Talk. It is not a love show.
That's it.
We
That's
got
it.
some
We're wrapped.
food.
We're gonna
Today
eat.
was-
Man, we provide the vibe.
Thank you.
We got some food. Thank you, Angie,
Love you, baby. Thank
for
you for having
coming
me.
here.
I'll be back when you're ready.
and definitely. Oh
This
man,
looks delicious.
This is
Thank
this is the real deal here. Thank you.
Delicious. Thank you.
Wow, this is the real deal here. This is
You get a meal at the end of every podcast?
yeah, this is how it happens.
Unbelievable.
Wow,
I got fat on the
and
show.
this is real food. This is not
Yo,
like
you
this
get people
gourmet.
meals at the end of your podcast?
What? Nah, you don't got that.
You get meals at the end of your pod?
It's a thing.
I'm gonna go have hookah with Joe tonight.
I bet you love a hookah.
That's a vibe.
Me too.
Y'all gotta invite me one of those. I stopped smoking hookah though.
Me too. I only do it when I'm with Joe.
It bothers my
Bad
throat.
influence.
No,
But you know
I
what it
smoke
is?
hookah like twice a year.
Yeah, well that's good. That's a good ratio.
That's my number.
Yeah, that's good.
See how easy that was?
So easy. It's
Very
just spit it out. Truth. Transparency.
Transparency.
I
So
know-
Bob and Jermaine coming soon.
My number is very scary.
So on that note,
No, on that
Yeah.
note, thank you for
episode what?
watching.
63?
Kitchen Talk. Shout
I'm
out
not
to
eating on
Duce.
camera. Let's say bye. That's what I'm gonna eat.
What?
It's love, peace,
And he agrees.
yeah, and all that. Free Ricky.
At
We
your
love you.
favorite
Thank you.
tomboy.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Anytime.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Love you, Angie.
Thank you, love.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It is what it is. Y'all really dangerous.